And by the way, this is Harrowings Live with Hal Gill and Sonny Trippel.
Okay.
And this is a podcast we're doing. We don't do this all the time, but I usually meet with Sonny every Tuesday at noon. She's my vocal coach, and we were talking a little bit about what she's got coming up. She was asked to sit in with Better Off Dead at the Chubby Squirrel. Is that right?
Well, no, actually, I'm going to be with.
Two things.
It was two things, and I didn't. I think that the Better Off Dead had something else planned, but it was kind of far away from me. I think they're going to be at like the not the Wrecker, but something that's not near me. So the Chubby Squirrel, I've never played there before, and my friend Rob Hornfeck, he's Rob Hornfeck Enterprise. He's a great musician. He asked if Neil Singh and I would like to play some music with him at this brewery in Fairfax. And I thought, I don't know how I can say no to the Chubby Squirrel. That's a great place.
I never heard of it. It's another brewery.
I hadn't heard of it either, but yeah, it's a
How
brewery.
old is it?
It must be new. It must be new.
Okay.
It's
Because you
the,
would have heard of that, right? If
I
it was called the Chubby Squirrel.
it's quite a name.
Yeah, it is quite a name. Where in Fairfax is it? Do you know? Do you know the street name or anything?
Find out right now.
Yeah, we can tell people you're gonna be there tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow, 6 to 9.
If you can't make, in other words, John Kay's Furthermore at the Hamilton Live in DC, which is a fundraiser for the DC Central Kitchen that he does every year. He used to do it at Gypsy Sally's, but Gypsy Sally's, as we know, closed. Jay Blakesberg and I were talking about Gypsy Sally's because Jay had done his slideshow there, the dark and the light, which was a big draw at the Birchmere afterwards. He sold out the Birchmere with a slideshow. Can you imagine?
Amazing.
Yeah. And anyhow, the John Case Furthermore is going to be playing. Andy Falco and his sidekick Travis, I forget Travis's last name of them, but some String Dusters were there just the night before. And Jay was telling me all these things that were happening right under my nose. I didn't know. I'd seen those guys before doing the songs of Jerry Garcia. They had a heck of a set list, I saw. But do you know Andy Falco by any chance, Sonny?
I don't know Andy Falco. No,
Or you know about the infamous String Dusters, though?
I know of Andy Falco, and I just have never met Andy Falco. I think I've seen him perform once. I think he did a show maybe with Turquoise or something.
Oh, wow.
I saw him at 9:30 Club possibly. Yeah.
If you don't know Turquoise, they are no more. This for the guests here. But
Now Cool
they were
Cool.
great. They were very funky, and Cool, Cool, Cool succeeds them
Yeah.
and has been out on the road with Jerry Harrison and Adrian Belew doing Remain in Light. And I saw that show like 3 times. I was such a addict for that. I love the vocalists that they have playing there. In fact, Sammy Garrett was at the Ardmore Music Hall's 10th anniversary with Everyone Orchestra. She's one of the vocalists with Cool, Cool, Cool and Barbally with Turquoise. And I always like seeing these musicians out there working their tails off, right, Sonny? We were talking actually last week from the AI World or Enterprise AI World conference where I was attending about the business of music and just what the working musician goes through. Like here, you're getting invited to go out to a gig. You've got to get ready. You've got to get your costume together and stuff. And then you got to hit the stage and do the singing. And that's what we see. But what goes into that behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, there's booking, there's negotiations, there's making sure that it's marketed. And I'm just going to walk in here because you mentioned costumes,
Oh,
and
okay.
and really, you know, there's just all kinds of sequins and shoes and
Oops.
you know, all kinds of, yeah, capes there's just a lot that goes into what I do.
I love that. Up close and personal.
So I have like a lot of wild thing, when people want to purge or they want to do their get rid. Oh, if it doesn't bring you joy when you touch it, or if you haven't worn it in however maybe a year or something. I have stuff that I haven't worn in a long time, but the occasion comes up, and I
Mm.
cannot get rid of anything, not because, "Oh, I just can't get rid of it," because I need it. I needed a costume. I need this. I need this color for this event. I need to pay, ho homage to this person, so I need to make sure I have, um, these these red high-heeled, whatever the accoutrement may be. But, um, but then there's a lot of executive function stuff that goes on, and that is making sure the contract's in place, making sure the stage plot gets to whoever the sound engineer is, and that everyone's on the same page about, inputs and microphones and load in times and sound check and, um, selling tickets and all of the executive stuff aside. There's the business of music is at its heart the business of connection, right? And all of that leads to, the things that, okay, we need to eat, so we need to make money and all of that stuff. But at the core of it, if we didn't need any of that, the reason why we do it is to tell the story, um, and to be a part of it, right? And as we look back in history, the way that we communicate history or communicate some education has been in rhyme or in song or in poem. Before there was a way to write things down, we have these stories that we pass down from generation to generation,
Mhm.
and sometimes in song makes it easier to remember, when you're young and in school and you learn, you know the preamble or something. Sometimes it's to the tune of a song like "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, and promote the general welfare," this kind of thing.
Yeah, it comes back to me. I don't even know those words, but when you started singing it, I could anticipate
Right.
what the next thing was. I feel like a predictive analysis engine.
Yeah, you've been working on that. But before there was a computer, before there was a pen, um,
Mm,
had to tell these stories to the children.
right.
And so the business of music is to, share a s- I feel it's sharing a story, but story might be too simple of a word. Um, you know,
Well,
and
we're geared for story. That was a really interesting workshop I attended last Monday, was
mm,
on story thinking.
yeah.
People talk a lot about design thinking, and this guy was more on story thinking. Neuroscience tells us our brains are rigged for story and this narrative sequence of time, and the fact that we do the mnemonic devices, right? The ways we memorize things, the ways we keep our memory intact. And you were talking about, you've been working with folks in senior living facilities, for instance. And what do you have to say about that in terms of music?
Well, I I mean, as far as witnessing things, and
Mm,
I witness someone not quite where they are sometimes, but knowing every single word to "You Are My Sunshine," or "Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree," or, "I
mhm,
can't love with you," and maybe not quite totally knowing, remembering what the name of, you know, someone very important in their family to them is, because we connect with music. So, we fuse with it, and it doesn't go away.
right.
It's very rare that I go into, I'll go into assisted living, I'll go into independent living, and also to memory care. And when I'm in memory care, um, it's very different. But the memory care, if I sing "Take Me Home, Country Roads," everyone sings along. Everyone, they might really talking at all when I come in there. They're not really maybe interacting with anyone at all. Um, they really. don't have a lot to say maybe, but when the music starts, they want to sing Que sera sera. They know, or you know what I sing sometimes? I think I modify some of the words because there's some not some great words in She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain.
Okay.
But I mean, as the verses go on, you realize, okay, wait a second, this this song,
This belongs to a different time of history,
like, hey, whoops,
with different sensibilities. Let's put it
right,
that way.
right. But but it's something that everybody knows, and we sang
Yeah.
these. They also love America the Beautiful, and O Shenandoah. Do you know those?
Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter.
You know,
Yeah. Away you rolling river. Goes on, right?
yeah. Do you know who recorded that song within the past? Oh, I don't know, 10 years or something like this.
Yeah.
Mr. Bob Weir.
Did he? Yeah, I can imagine that would work
Now,
really well with Blue River, right? That
It was
album he did of more countrified stuff.
it was that one. He might
And
have
he had this great song on there called Hi Bossy. You know that one?
no.
Hi Bossy. It's basically a 12th step kind of thing. He says, in a 12th step meeting on a cold November night. It goes on. And it's,
Story.
and And it was really funny. You know, I just came up with, about 21 hours ago on Facebook, I noticed Moon Alice has put up a photograph of themselves. Did you ever work with any of the guys in Moon Alice?
No, no,
No, not yet?
no. I
Yeah.
actually never seen Moon Alice, but I've seen video of Moon Alice.
Oh, really? You've never seen them live?
No, I don't know how
The
I.
there was the Gypsy Sally's, um, rendition of the full Moon Alice when they started coming out with the Chambers brothers, namely Dylan Chambers and his father. Who were part of the Chambers Brothers originally, and then Dylan's, of course, younger, but he sort of carries a lot of the lead vocal parts on things like Turn On Your Love Light and things like that. And then they've got the T Sisters, who are a separate group. Eric is married to one of the brothers Comatose. Are you familiar with the brothers Comatose at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not so much, but my friend Holly out in Oregon is, that radio show. Sometimes go on her show. And actually, I guess she's on the air right now with her morning show out at KSKQ. We'll give her a plug.
Yeah.
But she's worked with, I think she's had Barry Sless, and she's had, I think, some of the T Sisters on as guests, maybe as well. I'm not positive of that. John Mallow, who played with Bruce Hornsby in The Range, is their drummer.
Hmm.
And then you got Jason Crosby, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and he does violin as well as,
He
keyboards with, Roger McNamee. And Pete Sears is on bass on that one. He was also a keyboardist with Jefferson Starship. So you got all these guys who are just like have this huge musical resume. And you played with groups like that too a lot around here. You played with On the Bus, you said? That was way
I
back?
I played with On the Bus for many years, and
Uh-huh.
and in that band, I guess that's how I met John Kadlicek, um,
Right.
because he would come and play the fiddle. He plays
He played
bass.
violin too, huh?
Yeah, he plays bass, fiddle, guitar, of course, sings. He's a multi-instrumentalist. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
well, I don't know, but those are the ones that I know about. And, so I would he would come and play, sit in with us sometimes, and then I would play sometimes with I would sing with his band occasionally.
Mhm.
And, um, I mean, he's very, very talented and plays with so many different people. I have something coming up December 5th for Ron Holloway fundraiser at the 8 by 10. Are
Yes,
you
yeah, I need to talk about that one. I've got a ticket for it. Yeah, I bought a ticket right away as soon as they were
I
available.
I hope you can come. Um, and he's not gonna be there, but it just made me think of because all these people I've met along the way doing
Right.
bands, it's it's such a one of these fun privileges of having done so much work with so many people is that people people love to get together and jam or like make music together when you're maybe not necessarily in a band if you have time to get together like everyone orchestra kind of does or is do a little pickup group or get together a little super group, and that's what I'm doing at the 8 by 10 is I put together a little super group of,
Talk to me about it.
you
Yeah.
know, it's, well, I've got the keyboard player from Psycho Killers, from my band Psycho Killers, John Brady, who is also I think he's in Uncle Kunkel's 1 Gram Band now also.
I
Um,
caught them in an after show after I think it was Bob Weir and Wolf Brothers, or it was J Rad or something. There was an after show
oh, yeah.
at 8 by 10 of Uncle Kunkel's 1 Gram Band, and they were great.
Well,
A
so
blast.
the player was John Brady. And so he'll be in this band, and on drums is Jason Skeen. He's in my original band, Walking in the Air, but he was also in this band, Covered with Jam, with
Oh,
me,
right.
and for many, many years. And Covered with Jam, we covered a lot of territory. We always did a different album or a different theme. We didn't have like our set list or these are the kinds of songs or add a new song or two to no. We do like intervisions and then like never do it again. And or um we did the Pearl Jam 10 album. We never did it again. Uh, we did The Who versus The Crew,
Did
and
you? What did you cover for The Who?
we did Drowned, Christmas. Uh,
Oh,
I can't remember what else we did. Those were the 2 that I remember
that stood
particular.
out.
Loved doing Christmas. Nun, 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 it's like
Have you ever seen the faces of the children? They get so excited. I'm
yeah,
not the
well,
right key.
Jason sing it. He was playing drums and he would sing lead, and I'd be like, there's a vocal that's really cool and high. Um, and the reason why we would do well, sometimes we do these verses shows.
Yeah.
Would be Jason and we both have a birthday at the end of March, and so we would pick our favorite band or one of our favorite bands, and we'd kind of then go back and forth. So I picked that year. I picked Motley Crue because it was kind of an old favorite of mine from when I was younger. They really, their older albums are really good. They're Shout at the Devil, they're Too Fast for Love. It's good stuff. And to interweave it with the Who. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, Motley Crue and the Who, but people love it. It was really fun. And then like one year for our birthday we did Fish Sticks, and we went back and forth between Sticks and we did the Grand Illusion. We opened with the Grand Illusion, and
Steady camera.
yeah, did you know Maze and Wolfman's Brother and uh, too much time on my hands.
What
Wow,
song? Who did that?
that was Sticks and
Those sticks. Okay. Okay.
Collar Can and sail. I'm sailing away and Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. What's the name of that song? I can't remember it.
Then maybe it's title. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mr. Botto or something. Yeah.
like the truth is out there. The they finally found me. Oh, Renegade.
Renegade. Yes, that was
Uh,
kind of like a ripoff of what is that? Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. I felt very similar theme.
it sounded like Led Zeppelin. Bow, bow, ba-da-da-da-da-da, bow, dow. I can't stop talking about love.
Trampled underfoot. Do you
Yeah,
think it's related? I didn't never noticed that.
I think they have similar.
I did think Joe Walsh's Life's Been Good has a riff that's very similar to Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. Or no, that's not probably right. It's one of the tunes off of Physical Graffiti. Bum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum.
Well, the first year
That's not it either.
the
I forget what I'm doing.
the first year we did Grateful Dead and Led Zeppelin because
Mhm.
Jason sing. So we did uh Led. Wait, we did Dead Zeppelin was the name of it, right?
Led Zeppelin, okay.
Yeah, and because Grateful Dead is my favorite band, and Led Zeppelin he sings it great, and it went really well. And I think we did. I've told you some of these before, but one of them that was really unique and this is Dan Steele, who's masterminded all of this. By the way, he would ask Jason Skeen and I what we wanted to do, but he was the guitar player and the guy who did Covered with Jam. So Dan Steele would come up with these concepts. Um, but the one that was really cool was Dark Side of the Force. And we would do the whole album, Dark Side of the Moon, around songs from Star Wars, like, you know, um,
I don't.
uh, what songs they even did Nub Jub, I think is the name of the song that the Ewoks do in one of them, maybe Return of the Jedi, and
Yep, yep,
they
yep.
cantina song. You know, a lot of people do the cantina, tease on the
Okay,
song or
that's
maybe
very
like
good. But
we did like, the Imperial March and we did,
okay,
you it but it was
familiar. Yeah.
we jammed on these things
It's
and
kinda like you mash up games of some Game of Thrones with Pink Floyd or something, but this was Pink
yeah,
Floyd and
we
Star
would
Wars.
take away from
Dark Side of the Force.
right, but we would do the songs proper. We would do the Pink Floyd songs proper, but then we'd jam out and then do this Star Wars bit, and then, okay, now we're back in
When
with
it came to
money.
time or yeah.
Yeah, and, like, Jason would do samples of, like, Darth Vader's voice or, like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope," would, like, come in, like, right before we started, like, Us and Them or something like this, I can't remember. And then another time we did, One More Saturday Night. Oh, no, sorry, One More Saturday Night Fever was one of our themes, and we did Grateful
Oh.
Dead and the Bee Gees, and it was
So are these available out on YouTube, do you think? Is covered in Jam findable? Are the covers of people filming it and such?
I'm sure that there's tons of video on YouTube, but um, there's also stuff on archive.com, and I don't think this is the one that I wore, but, like, it
So the
it's
costume.
similar to this, what I wore for this, One More Saturday Night Fever, it was like
Oh,
this
okay.
it was a sequined it was a gold one, but I just don't know where that but, I have all these crazy, like,
So have you got your
stuff
wardrobe picked out for
all
Ron's,
over
benefit at the 8 by 10 on December 5th, folks, 8 by 10 in Baltimore. Be there.
the fun.
You can get your
Uh
tickets on, what is it called, Dice?
Yeah, Dice is what 8 by 10 uses because there's no hidden charges or anything like this. You do have to download it, I think, but it's like dice.fm or something. I don't know what it is. You could find it on the 8 by 10 website. But we have Jason Skeen and on drums, John Brady on keys, Neil Singh on bass, who is also in Walking in the Air.
Yeah, I love Neil.
We have Palmieri on guitar, who's going to come from Connecticut. All of us have played with Ron before. So Tim Palmieri is in Lotus. His bands have
Okay, great.
been The Breakfast and Kung Fu, and he also did these incredible streams during quarantine, where
Okay.
he did this one man show, and he's like a master with the loop pedal.
Right,
Um,
right.
and
David Gantz does that too, looping on his show, and he did live streams, he's still doing them, pretty
yeah,
much every afternoon or, and just West Coast time, 7, 8 PM. You can
awesome.
find him on YouTube, you can find him on, Facebook, but yeah, so
That's great.
Palmieri is gonna be he's the Lotus guitarist, right?
Yes, and
I think he might have been part of that, he's played with Everyone Orchestra too, hasn't he? I think he might have been part of that 10-year anniversary, thing at the Ardmore that I saw back in '23. I went to that show and then bugged out to go down to Williamsburg. I stopped in Washington long enough to get a nap, got up the next morning, went down to Williamsburg to visit my father, who was ailing, and he'd be passing away the following April. But, then I went immediately up to Richmond and caught Karina Reichman at the Camel, and then drove back in a tropical storm. I
yeah,
think that was my last time I'm gonna be doing that kinda driving anytime soon. That was nuts. But it was a lot of fun, and I loved catching, Karina Reichman's energy, on stage. That's what I like about you too. When you're on stage, you're really giving it out to the audience. And I think that's a big part of our theme here. We were talking about themes of gratitude, sharing our gifts, and you've got the gifts, and you've been sharing them like crazy. And then also the idea of asking for help because we need to get out there and help. If you can't show up and, person on the 8 by 10, and it's debatable whether I can drive to Baltimore or not anymore, but I might. and but I have bought a ticket, and
Well, we
sometimes that's all I can do. I will make
all
the Hamilton Live tonight, though, for the DC Central Kitchen. That's tomorrow night, sorry.
and is there a component tomorrow night there for, like, bringing a non-perishable?
You know, I don't know that there is, but you should reach out to John Kay. You need to reestablish connection anyway, right? You should bug him and say, "Hey, you have a can drive there?" Because I don't think so. I don't think I ever noticed that before. It's just the concert, right?
Yeah.
And the proceeds going back to the DC Central Kitchen, but it would be fantastic if there was, like a Dead Musicians Stew thing that Ron Holloway's actually done with you out at JV's, right, in Falls
Yeah.
Church?
There's a Dead Musician Stew coming up December 9th that I might be a part of. I have to call Rick Teen today and talk to him about that. Um, I mean, he's definitely gonna have it no matter what, and he's always accepting now he's always accepting canned goods, which is awesome. It makes me super happy.
Yeah,
Um,
talk more about that because I
well
need to give them the context here. We've got
well,
people watching, and if you
I
want to ask us questions too, people, please feel
oh,
free.
yeah.
We've got about 13 other people.
Yeah, please do. Well, let me really quick, let me just wrap up the 8 by 10 thing because I think I was
Okay.
like, telling you about the people in it.
All
Pat
right.
Pat Rainey is also gonna play with us, saxophone, and we'll have some people sitting in, some surprise guests from Ron Holloway's band, and Rachel Ann Morgan has put this whole thing together. She's from the Ron Holloway band, and Jenny Langer also has been working very hard on all of these to help raise money for Ron. Great Northern is gonna play, a Grateful Dead tribute band. Ed Huff and his friends are gonna play Allman Brothers and, like, I think Clapton or Cream or something like this,
Mhm.
and we are gonna play I don't think I said that we're gonna play Dark Side of the Moon. So we're doing Dark Side of the Moon, and then we're gonna play
And
fun dance numbers after that, but we're gonna do that.
and Sonny, of course, is going to be the lead vocalist on The Great Gig in the Sky. So that's worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I love singing Great Gig in the Sky, and it's been a little been a minute. So yeah, um, the one after that, that's December 5th at 8 by 10. Then December 9th is the Dead Musicians Stew, which I'm not sure if I'm able to come to that one, but I have to call Rick and look at my calendar with him, and hopefully I'll be doing that. It will be Ben Tufts on drums, and Rick will be putting it all together, singing some and playing some, and I would sing. And I think he's asking Neil Singh to play bass. And those are the next couple of things that I have in the so Chubby Squirrel 8 by 10, and then that Dead Musicians Stew at JV's in Falls Church. JV's in Falls Church. You know, I guess the first time I was there was probably in 2019 or something, which I don't know why, because it's been around for almost 50 years.
Is
And,
that all? I thought it was like goes back to the 40s or something.
oh, I don't know. I thought I don't know. I don't know. Someone
Somebody told me that it went back like way back. And it's been around forever, you know, as a music venue too. It's just a restaurant, and it's in like a little strip mall kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a little dive bar, um, and it's small, and they have live music every night of the week. You could find like Dave Chappell playing there or Soul Roots or um who else who else frequents that? Or the Dead Musicians Stew is in there. Oh, I saw Patty Reese in there one time. Um, I don't know, just like local legends. So it's
And a
really
great place to go after State Theater show because it's right around the corner, right? Not far anyway.
and I think they stay open pretty late. Right next to State Theater is Claire and Dawn's, and right around the corner, I don't know how far around the corner is is JB's. It might I don't know how close in proximity they are, but they have to be kind of close, you know.
Yeah, I think John Kay was doing a Furthermore show at the State Theater when I got invited first to JB's for
Who
something that was going on there. Hmm?
do you recall who you saw at JV's?
Well, I didn't go, but I
Oh,
heard about it. The only time I've been to JB's was for Dead Musicians Stew
oh,
last year.
that's so
And I
good.
took a few cans, right? I got you started there, and Sonny really got that kicked off. I
Well,
think we have to foot stomp that sharing food is one of the most important things you can do, I think, in these day and age.
yeah,
It's primary, and, it doesn't cost us a lot to take a can or 2 and contribute it in addition to the cover charge or whatever it is for the band. I
right.
think there was a little cover charge, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it's usually around $10 or something like that. Uh,
And what great entertainment you can get, and the quality of musicianship is off the charts for most of these because people are really dedicated to it, and they've been doing it for years.
yeah, and
It's
so
really deeply experienced. Go ahead.
Ron Holloway was doing the Dead Musicians Stew with Rick for, quite a while, and Rick Teen, um, he
Mhm.
put it together and was doing it on Tuesdays, and one thing, bringing music to the community on a Tuesday night, like quality music is really a wonderful thing, but another wonderful thing about it is to create work for a musician on a Tuesday night that's meaningful and, you know, to to be able to be paid on a Tuesday night is not always easy in this area. We don't like, it's not like Nashville or even Baltimore has like a more I think a more vibrant nightly music scene possibly, but maybe I'm just, grass is greener or something. I love DC. I love DC, and you can find live music around. You can find it, but you have to look. It's not just, oh, I've got this Monday night gig or this Tuesday night gig.
Well,
It's
let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the things that are going on around there and list them out.
Well, some of the people that are making things happen, one of them is Rick Teen, this guy who just he wanted to jam with friends with music he liked, and he started to make friends with some very, very good musicians and would create these opportunities to play music, and one of these people was Ron Holloway, and so he was getting Ron Holloway paid on a Tuesday night. Ron Holloway's a local legend, played with, you know, Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Rollins, he was in he was in what's why can't I Root, Root Boy Slim, and the Root Boy Slim
Yes.
band. He was in Susan Tedeschi's band. He's played with Tedeschi Trucks. He was in Government Mule. He he toured with
Dark Side of the Mule, eh?
the Mule. He toured with the Allman Brothers. He shared a bus
It
with.
appeared to me, personally, when I was up at the Ardmore Music Hall at the Unlimited Devotion and Ron was on with the, Wavy All-Stars or the Gravy All-Stars, as Wavy Gravy is what the Unlimited Devotion weekend's all about. If you don't know Wavy Gravy, see Saint Misbehavin'. That's the movie about his life. Anyhow, I always like it's hard to keep Ron off the stage.
Yeah,
If people were playing, he was up there jamming with them. And he wasn't even like the star of the show necessarily, but he had his own band, and that's where I first got to see him play. He was opening for Samantha Fish at the Hamilton
yeah,
with the Ron Holloway band,
yeah, yeah.
and he was a great band leader.
Yeah, he's a great band leader. I first met him when I was on the bus. I was at Sunshine Daydream Farm out in Terra Vista, Terra Alta, Terra Vista. I can't remember what it's called in West Virginia. It's kind of far from where I live. At least 3 hours, maybe four and a half or something like this. And it was the middle. We had this late night set. We were like the headliner, but it was one of these hip fests that like the headliner goes on it like I don't know, 12:30, I don't know, it was late at night, and it was cold. It was cold, and I got to this barn in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh, man." I had no idea that it was gonna be this far, nobody told me. I by myself, and, I went inside, and I heard this voice that was just angelic, right? And I look around, and I see this woman, this girl singing. She's just killing it. And, I go backstage to, like, put my stuff down, and that set stops, and, like, she comes out in the backstage area, and I introduce myself. I'm like, "Oh, man, you were incredible. What's the name of your band?" She's like, "Oh, we're Photo Radio." And I was like, "Wow, you were really good. I really enjoyed it." And we're talking, we're having a good time, and it was Mary Langford,
Oh, yeah, Marielle.
Marielle. And, I mean, this was, like, over a dozen years ago, right? And so we're talking, and then I turn around, and the guy in my band on the bus, he says, "Ron Holloway's playing with us tonight." And I like, "No way. No way. Ron Holloway's playing with us? On what song?" "Any song he wants to. Any song, all of them, any of them, all of them." And I was like, "Okay." And I turn around, and there's Ron sitting down in this barn. Now the barn is built for this kind of thing. So, we're in like a nice little backstage area, but it's still a barn. And he's like dining, doing something to his saxophone, and I go over, and I have my hoodie on. I had a hoodie on. I had a burgundy hoodie on, and I went over and I said, "Would you mind if I took a selfie with you?" And he
Aw.
very nice, and we did it, and then we went on stage with the hoodie on, and
Oops.
that's and so we went on stage, and man, we played this set that was just unbelievable, and from there, I began to play with Ron, like, all of the time. He was playing with us in Covered with Jam, he was playing with me in on the bus, he was calling me him with, you know, to do a wedding over here, or to do maybe the Ron Holloway band over there.
Mhm.
We just started doing all kinds of stuff together. And then 2019, or maybe it was the beginning of 2020, like January, that is when I first met Rick Teen. I don't know why I'm going on and on. I don't normally talk the whole time when I talk to you.
But the thing is, I like hearing about your story, and how you got to be who you are and where you are and why we're
Yeah.
doing this. We really haven't really hit hard on why we're doing benefits for Ron.
Well,
Maybe you wanna touch upon that.
yeah. So
We
I
got to 2020. Do you wanna go from there?
no, 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 that's fine. It was I one night at Gypsy Sally's, I was playing there or something, and Rick Teen came up to me and introduced himself, and that's where I met him. But anyway, so I am a strong believer of do what you can with what you have where you are. Do what we can with what we have where we are, and that is like if we're going to gather, we can do more. So, um, the food drive or the helping people or whatever. So,
Yes.
so
Community, build it together.
yeah, and as to tie all of this into what we began with, the business of music. Um, the business of music is not easy and doesn't always include someone with the executive function enough to have health insurance in place. Uh, you know, say what you will about, people need to do this or need to do that. Musicians have a very difficult time with getting and keeping health insurance sometimes because the income fluctuates. There are seasons that are more, weddings
Feast
happen,
and famine, yeah.
right? So it's not always, it's easy to look at someone else's life and say, well, this is how you should do it. But it's not easy being a gig worker who has seasonal work that is, it's not always easy. So anyway, a lot of musicians don't have health insurance, and it's something that we need to pay attention to and
Yep,
address.
yep.
Music Cares does a great job of helping some musicians, but
Oh,
Ron
backline too.
and Backline, yes. But Ron is sick right now, and he is in long-term care in a long-term facility right now. And, you know, it doesn't need to be said that those are expensive. So he had fallen last year, and he hurt his leg, and then when he went home, he wasn't, I guess,
Wasn't eating well, right?
wasn't eating well, not his own fault or anything like that. I think that his his partner was experiencing something. She had like something happened with her, and no one knew that he wasn't getting enough nutrients, and so that um,
Yeah.
in turn caused some pretty serious damage, neurological damage. and um, he now is experiencing some dementia, little. But they say, you know what? They say that he the prognosis is he'll hopefully get better, and he's been getting better. He's been getting better.
Mhm.
But I mean, dementia, maybe that's a big word. He's experiencing some confusion sometimes. I'll put it that way because
Yeah.
dementia can be a scary word. But he also has some other things going on. So, and actually, I forget the name of what he has. It's
Wernicke's is what you told me.
Wernicke's.
Yeah.
Wernicke. Yeah. Uh, so he's got that.
It's like an encephalopathy that is caused by a diminishment of B vitamins, really, is what it comes down to. Thiamine, in particular, is the deficiency that causes this, as I understand it. And I'm no doctor, so don't trust me on that. Fact check me.
Yes. So he needs um
Good
m-
nutrition,
he
therapy,
he needs therapy, and he needs
care.
round the clock care.
Right.
Um, so they're providing that for him, and we're raising money so that when he's able to be released, his brother is going to be able to care for him. I think they're going to put in a ramp at the house. But everybody's,
Pitching in. Yeah.
and so we're going to do a little more of that at the 8x10.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'll really help, I think. I don't know how much was taken in at the Hamilton Live fundraiser we did, but I think a good bit. And the thing was about that, we had that little video of him playing the saxophone. He can pick up the saxophone and the music comes back, like we were talking about earlier about your work with elder care and things. And he was like jamming away in that video, and it was really good to see.
yeah. Yeah. So he's got his saxophone there. I think they worked hard to get that there. I think sometimes it took some effort, but
Yeah.
his daughter-in-law and uh,
Mhm.
along with Jenny Langer and Rachel Ann Morgan. Rachel Ann Morgan has coordinated visiting schedules for other musicians to go see him. I've gone to visit him. She has coordinated so much stuff. Jenny Langer put together that Hamilton thing, and Rachel went and she emceed it all and also sat in.
And
She's
Rachel's expecting, right, at the same time.
a baby. Like,
Has she had the baby yet?
no,
Because dang,
I think she due like 2 weeks prior to, I mean, actually, what is
due
it?
in early December, right?
No, I think she's due 2 weeks prior to the event, December 5th. So I think that's like,
Okay, right now.
I better text her. She's, oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
She's awesome and I love her and I want to say she loves me too. She does. However, she's been asking me to like get her some stuff where I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah. Here's part of it. I'll get the rest of it to you soon." And I haven't, and I'm sure she's just like, "Do you realize I am pregnant?" You know, I'm sure, but I have some stuff that I need to follow up and get to her.
And this is the thing that is exceptional about you. I just want to plug you a little bit that you do give so much to the community, to other people. You're outreaching. You look out for people who don't look out for themselves. I remember we were discussing a friend of yours who had hitting some rough times, and you go out of your way to make sure that these people know that they're cared for. And that's something that society needs so much. All of us can do that. All of us can reach out to each other and make sure we feel needed and cared for. Whereas I was writing the other day, for instance, I'm going to segue to me for a second.
Please,
And I was writing about how I don't know if anybody actually reads what I write. Sometimes people come back to me. Actually, the other day I was shocked. I was about to drive down to visit mom, who's in a senior living facility, also cognitive decline going on. And I wrote a little bit, but I first saw this person wrote an article about my influence on them when they came into Substack. I was feeding back. Somehow they got picked up on my radar. They're over in Russia. They speak Russian, and translate their writing back into English. Now, my wife read it in the car, and she was, like, doing the eye roll because this person was very complimentary, which was lovely. And then she went to the comments, and she found somebody written Jesus Christ. We both interpreted it as a Jesus Christ, but it wasn't that. It was that the person was a believer and was, like, saying the person that mentored me and made me feel like I was significant was, Jesus Christ. That was nice that it wasn't meant as in
Our
but
our
it is hard to take a compliment sometimes, and that's another one of our themes besides, the one about gratitude and, the sharing our gifts with each other. There's also the thing about asking for help and being able to ask for help. So while Sonny, you're incredibly giving, if you don't know somebody needs help, how are they gonna ever get the kind of gifts you are extending from yourself or that we extend from ourselves as a community at large? I think it's so important. I'm actually working with a coach now in my career,
Mhm.
and, I'm sort of struggling with what I'm gonna do next. I've been experimenting with things, and that's why I have time now to talk, you and me. Um, in fact, when we started, I was employed. But that job fell out from under me, and I took it as a God shot that I actually had an opportunity to step back from what I've been doing for the last 20 plus years since I got back from Denmark, really working for different contracts for the federal government, and decided I don't really want to do that anymore, but I don't know what I do want to do. And that was the coach's question to me, what do you want? And I was like, oh, don't ask me that because I want to do this, right? I
Right.
want to keep on working on this, filming the passing show as well as doing harrowing podcasts with people like you, people like Jay Blakesberg or Kay Stoner that I'm going to have on Friday, Jenny Huang tomorrow. Um, really interesting
Wait,
people who have
tomorrow?
diverse voices.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Who are you having tomorrow?
Jenny Wang. I hope I
Oh,
pronounced it right. It's Ouyang, and she does this thing of AI builders community. Really interesting. She's done a lot, and she's up in the Northeast somewhere, but she's originally from guess where?
where?
Wuhan.
Oh, wow.
Which gave us the pandemic.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but she's been living here for a while and she's got kids, and that's fascinating, right? Somebody moved from Wuhan, China, and is building a life here, raising her kids in America. I think that reflects really well on America, for one thing, that we're very accepting of people and we like are the melting pot. But I'll tell you, I want to segue to something else now. And I do this a lot. I jump from one thing to the other. And apologies if anybody has a hard time following me
oh,
off the cuff. My wife and I watched the American Revolution series with Ken Burns. Right? Have you seen it yet, Sonny?
no.
Now, don't make this your takeaway, but my takeaway and Lynn's takeaway after we finished watching all 6 episodes, each one about 2 hours long, we sort of binged it through in the last few days, was we suck. Americans, because it was really focused a lot, not only on the things that we did to get our independence, but on the sort of bringing the real Washington to light and the real Jefferson and the real Adams and all of those people who were fundamental. I think they might have disparaged them a bit much. But of course, there are all of the hypocrisies built into our society because while we aspire to a lot of the things you were mentioning as you were singing the preamble of the Constitution, right? Isn't that what you were singing?
I was.
Yeah. While we might aspire to a lot of these things, and we might have had those goals in mind, we weren't achieving them for everybody. I mean, we had enslaved population, we had Native Americans who were badly treated. In fact, in the Kim Burns thing at the end, they said basically it might have been better for the Native Americans if the British had won the American Revolution. Maybe true.
Probably.
May well be true.
Yeah.
And we are trying to remedy those things in our society these days. I think we all can work towards that. And I just need more diverse guests, I think, on the podcast too, to sort of talk that up. I've got a guy I correspond with fairly often named Jerry Childs here in DC. He does a thing called The Bigger Lie on Substack. So I'll plug him. And a lot of times what he's doing is he's fact checking the Trump administration. And he's got a fairly good voice, I think, and I want to make sure I amplify it. Amplification of diverse voices, I think, is vital. So what's going on now?
Well, when you said fact checking the Trump administration, everything froze. So I don't know who's listening, but I think it's because I came too far. I walked too far. I walked out to the chicken.
Oh, you got chickens. I didn't
Yeah,
know you had chickens.
there's chicken. Yeah,
What are you
yeah,
doing
yeah.
with those chickens? Getting layers
Yeah, they're hens.
and they're
They
giving
like
you eggs?
yes, yeah.
Excellent. I had
But
no idea. You're out in the country. Now, you're not far from where Led Zeppelin hung out during the Laurel Pop Festival, right?
right. They they would come and hang out just over yonder. I'll show you.
Okay.
But just, I
Well,
guess I don't know up that up that way. So they pointed in that direction. I think the house up that way.
all right. Yeah, I remember you pointing me in that direction before. It looks just like it did the last time.
Yeah.
Maybe a
And
few less leaves on the trees.
so I met the woman whose house I met her last week, whose house
Okay.
I used to go to. And she's been taking tabla lessons for the past 12 years. And she is in a duo called Tabla for Two. And
That's great.
yeah, yeah, and they play all over, including the Kennedy Center, and I don't know. They
Like
travel.
Millennium Stage stuff, or
I don't know where. I didn't ask her which stage.
well, the
Um,
Millennium Stage is free at the Kennedy Center. If y'all don't know that, you ought to go down and check it out sometime. I think 6 p.m. Leslie Mendelsohn was playing that not too long back. You know, Leslie opened for The Who in Philadelphia for
mm,
their last show there, which got postponed. I had a guy come up to me today and say, "Oh, you know, The Who's going to be playing Philadelphia on December 31st." And I was like, "No, they're not. Where'd you get that?" Apparently, the guy who got his tickets, because he had gone up there for it, but they had
he
gotten
bought
their money back instead of going to the September 10th show,
I
and they
thought
actually did play it. Go ahead.
I thought someone sold him tickets that did not exist.
I thought so too. But they had gotten their money back. It was just pardon, just
Oh,
misinformation.
yeah,
Good Lord, my voice. We usually sing a bit, but I'm not going to do any of that today. We have 5 minutes to one. Is you got a hard stop at one, Sonny?
I do. I
Okay, well, I don't want to run over. So let's think about what we want to wrap up with here for the message for the people.
Well, what are some things that you're grateful for, thankful for? I
Breathing, it's breathing.
mhm.
And continuing to breathe, because if we don't do that, if we don't have breath in the body, we can't really do anything else.
Well,
So I
what
like to keep it simple and have gratitude for that. And then there's everything else is added to that. I have pains. I can be grateful for my pain. That reminds me I'm alive. I used to tell my father this. He was suffering a great deal towards the end of his life, and he had a lot of pain. And I said, "Well, I can always use the old line of bury your pain with pleasure, and then you'll have lots of pleasure." And he'd always laugh. I mean, it's a grim kind of thing, but when you're cast into this world, right?
yeah,
Nobody really gets here with a full deck to speak of. You come in very, because of our big brains, helpless, right? We're like premature all the time, even if we've gone through all 9 months, as I think the case will be with, remind me the name of the lady who's about to have a baby,
Rachel Ann Morgan.
Rachel Ann Morgan. Even if we go full term, as Rachel obviously is, then we're still born helpless and we need a lot of care and we need a lot of and I'm really grateful that we had the care we had growing up, my sister and I. My mother's still alive. I'm grateful that she can look back, that she is, at all things being equal, while she had a great career as the registrar at the Department of Collections in Colonial Williamsburg, taking them from card catalog to the e-museum system that can still be in use today, by the way, a monument to her work. That
Yeah.
even as her memory declines to the point where she ordered something and then got it, didn't want it, and, didn't remember ordering it. I
Mhm.
mean, that's how her memory's gone.
Yeah.
Even though that's the case, she can look at her children and realize she's given something to the world in terms of us. I don't have kids myself, so I can look at that, but I can look at having gratitude for the awareness that I can be a good ancestor and that I had good role models for that, like John Perry Barlow, who said, be a good ancestor in a lot of his talks that he was giving during the course of his evolution from a Grateful Dead songwriter to being a cattle rancher to being an internet guru and founding the Electronic Frontiers Foundation. So it keeps on going. Breathe in the air, don't be afraid to care. Yes, indeed. That's a great tagline. So how about you, Sonny? You got the last 2 minutes. I see
Uh,
a 2 minute warning coming up.
well, I wrote breathe in the air, don't be afraid to care to act, but you're grateful for breathing.
Yep.
Breathe, song from Dark Side of the Moon. Um, and I think that everybody is just doing what they can where they are with what they have. And if they're not, maybe they could start. And it helps ourselves too. You said, I help other people, or if I find out or whatever. I don't help when I don't try to find who needs help, all the time. I I can't. Nobody can. And so sometimes I think to myself, um, when I need help and I have trouble asking for help,
Yes.
what I discover helps me to ask for help is to think of, if I need help helping myself, what is that help? And that's if I'm not totally fallen and complete, like, I need 100% help. But I get to spaces sometimes, like I will self isolate and I will think, why does no one notice that I need this or I need that? Or where's the rescue here for me for XYZ? And what keeps me not, some I make sure as a musician, it's very difficult to not become jaded sometimes, right? And so I just keep reminding myself, I can't expect people to know what is wrong if I don't tell them, and I can't expect people to help me if I don't tell them what will help. And I don't always know what will help. I don't know. So I guess just doing what we can, where we are, with what we have, is the very is the footstep needed. That I think I told you about the starfish story. There's the boy on the
Right.
beach. He's trying, he's throwing all the star they're all washed up after this storm, and there's just thousands of them. And someone comes up and says to him, what do you think you're doing? You think you're going to save all of these starfish?" He said, "There's no way." And he picks one up and he throws it in the ocean and says, "Well, I saved that one."
Yep. I heard it as a little girl, and it's that I can't say them all, but it won't matter. What you do won't matter. It matters to that one.
It ma-
It's a funny story that it comes up differently for different people, but it's a good example. One of the things I like to do is to support Camp Winter Rainbow, so I'll plug that. As Sunny, it's 1 o'clock, 1 minute after one, and you said you had a hard stop, so I better let you go.
Yeah, well, this was great. I loved it. Thank
I enjoyed it. I hope other
you.
people enjoyed it. And remember, the 8 by 10, 12.5, and then the 12.9 is Dead
Dead
Musicians too.
And then don't
Bring
forget
a can.
the chubby squirrel. You could bring a can to the chubby squirrel in Fairfax tomorrow night from 6 to 9, and it will be Rob Hornfeck, and a few friends. I will be one of them. So, yeah.
Thanks, Sonny.
Thank you so much, Hal. Have a great Thanksgiving. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye, everyone else. Take care and happy Thanksgiving to you also. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And that's Sonny Trippel. And I'm going to stay on for a second or two because I can. I usually have a voice lesson with Sonny. I'd like to hear what you all thought of that. So give me some feedback if you can. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, we're doing what we can with what we have where we are. I think all of you all are also. I hope it might spark something in you that you might want to do something else, or, give me negative feedback if you want to. I can take it. Um, we want to do more of this. If you want to be a guest on Harrowings podcast, you can do that too. So I'm going to wrap it up. It'll make some clips of what we're doing here. Every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating, folks. So think about that as you go from dawn to dusk. And we can feel better about ourselves as a result, I think. So again, if you had questions or comments, I'm looking for them in the chat. Not seeing any, I will just say farewell, friends, and look for us on YouTube, Spotify, where you listen to podcasts. It'll get pushed out on all those channels as I hit end.